come up season. Nobody clapped for what they didn't see. 3 years in the basement building what would be. Come up season. Darryl kept the session logs, every take, every date. The come up season, the work before the wait.
Daryl Monroe, Bed-Stuy, 96 to 99. 3 years of production work before the first sign that anything was landing on an outside ear. He kept a notebook with the date of every session clear. Recorded the hours, Tuesday 11 p.m. to 3, Thursday midnight to 5. The degree of the commitment is documented in his own hand. 412 sessions the plan, and the spontaneous both logged with the same care. I asked him once, why document? He said the prayer of the process is the process itself. If I stop logging, I put the sessions on the shelf of the theoretical. The notebook makes it real. Every entry is a contract with the ideal of the finished thing. 412 contracts. Darryl, Bed-Stuy, 3 years the fact.
The come up season. Nobody claps for what they didn't see. 3 years in the basement building what would be. Come up season. Nobody claps for what they didn't see. 3 years in the basement building what would be. Come up season. Nobody claps for what they didn't see. 3 years in the basement building what would be. Come up season. Nobody claps for what they didn't see. 3 years in the basement building what would be.
The come up season has a specific temperature. Cold, the calls that go unanswered. The aperture of the opportunity closed before you get there. Darryl sent 43 demos to share of responses to both form letters. He kept those letters, framed them the feathers of the rejection, documented the same way as the sessions. He said, the day I stopped treating rejection as data is the day I stopped being a producer. The later you learn that rejection is information, the longer you stay in the devastation of it. Rejection says adjust or stay the course. Reading it is the skill, the source of the 44th demo that landed. Everything the 43 had handed him and data applied. Darryl the 44.
Come up season. Nobody claps for what they didn't see. 3 years in the basement building what would be. Come up season. Nobody claps for what they didn't see. 3 years in the basement building what would be. Come up season. Nobody claps for what they didn't see. 3 years in the basement building what would be. Come up season. Nobody claps for what they didn't see. 3 years in the basement building what would be. Come up season.
Ended in 99 when the call came in. 412 sessions, the beginning of everything to follow started in the log. Darryl still keeps the notebook, the catalog holds.
Come up season. Nobody claps for what they didn't see. 3 years in the basement building what would be. Come up season. Nobody claps for what they didn't see. 3 years in the basement building what would be. Come up season. Nobody claps for what they didn't see. 3 years in the basement building what would be. Come up season. Nobody claps for what they didn't see. 3 years in the basement building what would be. Come up season. The come up season.
The come up season.
Yeah.
Before the deal. Yo. Tick down. Fall off for real. Man, it's on. Before the deal. Before the deal. Before the deal. Before the deal. Yeah, before the deal. The version of yourself that built the thing. Isaiah in the basement, no crowd, no ring of validation, just to work in the standard held. Before the deal, the foundation was compelled. Before the deal, the version of yourself that built the thing. Isaiah in the basement, no crowd, no ring of validation, just to work in the standard held. Before the deal, the foundation was compelled. Isaiah Thomas, Crown Heights, 97 to 2001. 4 years of the pre-deal grind before the one that changed the situation arrived. He said in every conversation since I thrive in the pre-deal years in ways that after couldn't match. The clarity of the unknown outcome, the catch of the daily decision made purely with no audience, no management, securely anchored in the work itself and what it meant. To him the pre-deal standard was 100% Isaiah's own construction, nobody else's expectation in the room. The bells of the external validation hadn't arrived to complicate the signal he derived. The standard from the work alone, not from what the work would bring. The kingdom of the pre-deal years is the purest form. Isaiah Crown Heights, the standard, the norm. Before the deal, the version of yourself that built the thing. Isaiah in the basement, no crowd, no ring of validation, just the work in the standard hell. Before the deal, the foundation what compelled. Before the deal, the version of yourself that built the thing. Isaiah in the basement, no crowd, no ring of validation, just the work in the standard hell. Before the deal, the deal arrived in 2001. First off a first meeting, first time someone else's opinion started competing with his own full authority over the work. Isaiah said the lurk, a big external standard is subtle at first. You don't notice the thirst for the approval until it's already shaping. The decision, the escaping of that gravity requires the memory of the pre-deal standard as a treasury. You return to when the external gets loud. The crowd's approval and the crowd's disapproval are equally
unreliable. The pre-deal Isaiah is the reliable north. He checks against that version of himself in every decision, the excursion. From the pre-deal standard is the risk. Isaiah Crown Heights, the obelisk of the pre-deal self is compass. Compass. Before the deal, the version of yourself that built the thing. Isaiah in the basement, no crowd, no ring of validation, just to work in the standard hell. Before the deal, the foundation, what compelled. Before the deal, the version of yourself that built the thing. Isaiah in the basement, no crowd, no ring of validation, just to work in the standard hell. Before the deal, the foundation, what compelled. 4 years in the basement before anyone called. Isaiah says those 4 years installed everything to hell when the pressure came from outside. Before the deal, the foundation, Crown Heights, the guy. Before the deal, before the deal, before the deal, before the deal, before the deal. Isaiah Thomas, Crown Heights, 97, 4 years, 2001. The pre-deal standard still the compass.
3 rounds with Raymond, the hardest education I received. 3 rounds with Raymond, the hardest education I received. 3 rounds with Raymond, the hardest education I received. 3 rounds with Raymond, the hardest education I received. 3 rounds with Raymond, the hardest education I received. Every combination he landed with the corner, never believed could be taught by a textbook or a coach's diagram. 3 rounds with Raymond, the gym, the program. Raymond Vega, Burnside Avenue Gym, Tuesday and Thursday. He been sparring for 11 years. The first day I saw him, I thought too old, too slow to read. 3 rounds later, I revised the creed. Completely, Raymond didn't have speed. He had something that preceded speed in the hierarchy of the ring. He had pattern recognition, everything. You showed him in round 1, he cataloged. Round 2, he started logging the tendencies. The way you drop the left after the jab, the specific theft of the millisecond when you reset. Round 3, spent the whole set punishing exactly those 2 moments. He wasn't faster, his opponents were slower because he made them predictable. To themselves, the critical lesson. The opponent who studies you is more dangerous than the one who moves through you with pure speed. Raymond Burnside, the round. 3 rounds for Raymond. 3 rounds for Raymond. 3 rounds for Raymond. 3 rounds for Raymond. I asked Raymond how we learned to read like that. He said I lost a lot first. The combat of the early years was pure reaction. I moved on instinct, the fraction of the second it felt right. I got knocked down 8 times the fight. After the 8th time, I stopped reacting and started watching the attracting of the pattern. Takes 2 rounds of silence. You have to absorb the violence of the first 2 rounds to earn the third. Nobody teaches this. The word for what Raymond had wasn't in the coaching manual. It was acquired through the gradual accumulation of getting it wrong in front of people. The gym, the equal of 11 years of Tuesdays and Thursdays. Raymond Burnside, the hard way. 3 rounds with Raymond. 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 I sparred with Raymond for 2 years. He never once told me I improved. He just started hitting harder the move. Standard was the compliment, still training. 3 rounds with Raymond, the gym, what's remaining? 3 rounds with Raymond. 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 Raymond Vega. Burnside Avenue 11 years. He just started hitting harder to stand it. 3 rounds with Raymond. 3 rounds with Raymond. 3 rounds with Raymond. 3 rounds with Raymond. Raymond.
Yo, first generation. Yeah, yo, without. Yo, you know, without. Yo, first generation. 1 foot in each word every single day. Myra translated everything both ways. The forms, the phone calls, the parent teacher night. First generation, the double life, the fight. Myra Santos, Jamaica Queens 87. Her parents arrived from the Philippines, the heaven of the American promise carried across the Pacific. In 2 suitcases, the specific weight of what they brought, nursing credentials that needed recertification. The credentials of their lives rendered provisional by the board of the division.
original line between what you were there and what you are here was Myra's inheritance to clear and daily labor of the first generation child. At 7, she translated the utility bill at Mal. 9 years old, she sat in the doctor's office and interpreted her mother's symptoms. The novice of the two languages held the adult world together for years before she understood the weather of what that cost. Myra, Jamaica, Queens, the force.
First generation. First generation. First generation.
First generation. First generation. First generation. The advantage of the two worlds is the double fluency. Myra says, I learned early the currency of code switching isn't compromise. It's a skill set, the enterprise of reading a room in two cultural languages. Simultaneously, advantages of this I didn't understand until the work world made them visible. Every unfurled negotiation, every room where I was the only one who understood both sides to run. Of the first generation, advantage is real, and it's later robbing the reveal of what the difficulty produced comes after the difficulty to reduce. Version of the story, the burden without the return is the version people see what you earn from the double life arrives in the work world at 30. Myra, Jamaica, Queens, the fluency, the worthy.
First generation. First generation. First generation. First generation.
Myra's mother got a nursing license in 91. 4 years of recertification. Myra was 14, still translating the definition of the first generation is the relay. You carry until they can carry first generation away. First generation. First generation. First generation.
Generation.
First generation. First generation. First generation.
Generation.
You're going out. You're going out. Going out. Myra Santos, Jamaica, Queens, 87, 2 suitcases, 1491. The relay.
First generation.
Know your worth and then add tax to number. The people who undervalued me made a blunder. I accepted it too long before I saw clearly. Know your worth, then I'll hold that number dear. Underpaid work for 4 years straight. The justification, always reasonable to wait. Of the opportunity and the experience, debate of the foot in the door to late. Realization that 4 years of below market rate compounds into the permanent expectation of discount. People pay what you establish, the account of your own value set by the initial amount. You accepted the discount you gave becoming the count they start from on every subsequent negotiation. I learned it's expensive, the education costing 4 years of margin. The liberation coming only when I walked away from a negotiation that started from the undervalue. I'd establish myself. Know your worth and then add tax to number. The people who undervalued me made a blunder. I accepted it too long before I saw clearly. Know your worth, then hold that number dearly. You hold that number dearly. The next negotiation, I came in at market rate and held it. The shock on the other side immediate. The weight of their surprise being the evidence of how far below rate I've been working the going rate. Being something I'd apparently not claimed before. They pushed back, I held the score of the negotiation being the restoration. Their own market position, the door properly compensated, work open because I held it. The lesson being that knowing your worth and stating it, then holding it when challenged is a skill that takes practice, and the first attempts feel expensive. The long-term cost of undervaluing yourself is far more expensive. Know your worth and then add tax to the number. The people who undervalued me made a blunder. I accepted it too long before I saw clearly. Know your worth, then hold that number. Know your worth and then add tax to the number. The people who undervalued me made a blunder. I accepted it too long before I saw clearly. Know your worth, then hold that number dearly. 4 years below market, compounded into a permanent discount. Expectation, one negotiation where I held the real number. Everything changed. Hold that number dearly. Hold that number dearly. Your worth, then hold that number dearly.
4 years below market, compounded into a permanent discount expectation. One negotiation where I held the real number. Everything changed.
Know your worth, and hold that number dearly.
Yeah. Hey, yo, one style with him say, Mama, what's in the caddy? Grandmother's China. Yo. Grandmother's China. Harlem, yeah. Grandmother's China. 12 pieces, never used for eating. Every Sunday on the table, the meeting of the family around the plates that nobody touched. Grandmother's China, what it carry, what it clutch. Grandma Ruth kept the china in the cabinet with a lock. Key on a string around her neck, the clock of the family measured in those 12 white plates. She brought them north from Georgia in the crates of the Great Migration. 47, Harlem 143rd. 16 years old, the absurd weight of 12 china plates in the trunk of everything she owned, the junk of the unnecessary left behind. The china came, I asked why China she defined it once and only once, because beautiful things survive when nothing else does. The rings of her logic at 92 were cleaner than anything I'd read the leaner version of the world she navigated had not made her bitter. It had weighted her with a specific clarity about what lasts. Grandma Rule 47, the plates to pass. Yeah.
Grandmother's China.
Yeah.
Grandmother's China.
Yeah.
Grandmother's China. Grandmother's China.
Was used twice that I know of. The Sunday of my grandfather's return from the war above. The kitchen table discussion of whether to stay or go back south. And the Sunday my uncle graduated, the mouth of the family opened wide and the lock came off the cabinet. Grandma Ruth washed each plate, herself the habit of the occasion determining the object, not the reverse. The architect of the family ceremony was always her. She decided what the china was for. The spur of a judgment applied to the moment. 2 occasions in 50 years, the component of their significance was the scarcity. The plates meant something because of the clarity of her selection. Not every occasion deserves the china Grandma Ruth knew. She preserves the weight of the object by guarding its use.
Grandmother's China. Grandmother's China. Grandmother's China. Grandmother's China.
Roof passed at 94, the china went to my mother. 12 plates, the key on a new string. Another generation holder with 47 carried north. Grandmother's china, 143rd, what it's worth. Yeah.
Grandmother's China. Grandmother's China. Grandmother's China. Grandmother's China.
Grandmother's china. Yeah. Grandmother's china. Grandmother's china. Yeah. Grandmother's china. Grandmother's china. Yeah. Grandma Rule 47, Harlem 143rd.
My own curriculum, build it from scratch. My own curriculum, what the classroom couldn't catch. Yeah. The real education happens after the bell. My own curriculum, I know this system well.
Yeah, I graduated and immediately started over. The diploma being the end of the program, the closer of one chapter, and the opener of the question, now what do I actually know? The exposure of the gap between the credential and the competence, being a specific and humbling sentence of early professional life defense between what I've been taught and the dense reality of application. I've been trained to perform education, the explain, and repeated information, the obtain, answers to the asked questions, the contain, universe of the curriculum being the whole territory I've been mapping, the freeing discovery being that the territory, the seeing of what was actually out there, agreeing of the map and the land required a different approach.
Curriculum,
Yeah, yeah. Build it from scratch. Build it from scratch. My own curriculum. What the classroom couldn't catch. Couldn't catch. The real education happens after the bell. My own curriculum. I know this system well. Yeah. The piano loop pitched up to something hopeful. The soul of the original preserved, but the whole register lifted. The emotional pole shifted toward the possible. The full brightness of the pitched up sample being the production philosophy made audible. Seeing the material is something to transform, agreeing with it enough to use it, freeing it from its original context into something new. That's the self-education theory too. Take what's given, the residue of the formal training, being the glue that holds a self-built structure together. I'm not anti-institution, the weather, but not a formal training, being in the tether to real knowledge, requiring the weather of application to find out. The classroom gave me language, the sprout of curiosity, the devout practice of the question, the clout of what I did with it after is the curriculum.
Someone hoping still won't snare too.
I still read every day, still take classes sometimes. The curriculum never ends, just changes teachers. The best teacher I ever had was the work itself. My own curriculum, still
my own curriculum. Build it from scratch.
My own
curriculum. What the classroom couldn't catch. The education happens after the bell. My own curriculum. I know this system well.
Yeah.
Graduated, started over immediately. The gap between credential and competence built the next education from scratch.
Still reading every day.
Graduated, started over immediately. The gap between skill and competence built the next education from scratch.
Still reading every day. Never finish.
Decision happened on a Wednesday, ordinary day. The threshold moment dressed in nothing dramatic. The way real change arrives, quiet and total the gray. Wednesday afternoon when I stopped doing things the way I'd always done them and started doing them the right way. No thunder, no ceremony, just a bright line clarity of a man who finally stopped fighting his own instincts. The writing of a ship that had been listening for years, the sighting of the actual course after years of the approximate one. People expect transformation to announce itself to done. Deal of real change being the opposite spun story. A dramatic turning points replacing the actual one. A Wednesday afternoon when everything simply shifted.
Never look back. The day I made the move, something clicked inside, and I found the groove of actually living the life I was supposed to have. Never look back. That's the only epitaph. Never look back. Never look. The day I made the move, something clicked inside, and I found the groove of actually living the life I was supposed to have. Never look back. That's the only epitaph.
following Wednesday, I already knew this was permanent. The week of the new way feeling more natural. The current of the right direction recognizable. The deterrent of old habits weaker than expected. The concurrent running of old self and new self resolving faster than I thought possible to master. Switch had been thrown, the disaster of the old trajectory avoided the plaster of new patterns setting faster. Cause the foundation was ready. The patient accumulation of readiness across years of wrong direction preparation. Finally applied correctly, the creation of the new thing, building on everything the wrong path had taught.
The right road was there the whole time.
Just
needed one Wednesday to find it. Everything before was just practice for the life that came after. So I look back into that day you made a move. Something clicked inside, and I found the groove. Living the life I was supposed to have.
Yeah.
Never look back. That's the only appetite.
Yeah.
Never looked at
Yeah. A year later, the old way feels like somebody else's story. The distance between then and now require no allegory to explain, just a plain inventory of a man who made one real decision on one ordinary Wednesday and never once reconsidered. That's all it took.
Never look back, never look day I made the move.
Yeah.
Never look back, something clicked inside, and I found the groove.
Yeah.
Never actually living the life I was supposed to have. Never look back,
Yeah.
that's the only appetite.
Yeah.
Never look back, 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 never look One Wednesday afternoon, quiet in total the right direction. One Wednesday afternoon, quiet in total the right direction. One Wednesday afternoon, quiet in total the right direction. Never look back, never look back.
Yeah. Thought my 7 week is clean.
Right on.
Right up. 7 years clean, the daily work that nobody sees. Walter rebuilt everything from the knees. Not the dramatic bottom, the 1,000 ordinary days. 7 years clean, the discipline, the praise. Walter James Flatbush hit the bottom in 92. He says the bottom wasn't dramatic, nothing new for the movies. Just a Tuesday in October, broke alone. The weight of what he built and burned, the smoke of the previous 4 years still in his clothes. He called a sister, she came, nobody knows the exact words of that phone call. He doesn't share them what he shares. The decision to prepare them the next 7 years as the actual life. The previous 4 is the draft, the knife of the distinction between before and after. It's not a moment, it's a practice. The chapter of recovery is a daily chapter, not a single page. Walter says people want the dramatic stage at the bottom and the dramatic stage of the rise. They skip the 1,000 ordinary Tuesdays, the ties of the daily decision that bridge the two. The 1,000 Tuesdays are the work, Walter True. 7 years clean, the daily work that nobody sees. Walter rebuilt everything from the knees. 7 years clean, the daily work that nobody sees. Walter rebuilt everything. 7 years. The daily discipline of recovery is structural. Walter rebuilt everything. The instructional of his previous life had taught him to ignore the 8 a.m. arrival, the kept word, the door. He said he'd open, that he opened. The trust that had been broken over 4 years doesn't return in the announcement of the decision. It returns in the pronouncement of the daily kept promise accumulating. Slowly, Walter spent 3 years reinstating what trust his sister had lost, not through conversation, but through the boring demonstration of reliability. Tuesday after Tuesday, she started calling him for things, the leeway of the trust that is earned in increments of months. Year 4, she gave him a key to blunts of the ordinary earn back. Walter Flatbush, the key. 7 years clean, the daily work that nobody sees. Walter rebuilt everything from the knees. 7 years clean. The daily work that nobody sees. Want to rebuild everything. 7 years clean. Everything. 7 years clean. Everything. 7 years. 7 years in 2000, Walter runs the morning meeting at the center on Church Avenue. The greeting he gives is the same one his sponsor gave him. Show up. 7 years clean. Walter Flatbush. Show up. 7 years clean. The daily work that nobody sees. While I'm on to rebuild everything from the knees. 7 years clean. The daily work that nobody sees. While I'm on to rebuild everything. 7 years clean. 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 Ripple down a bit of way. 7 years clean, 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 clean. Down the saddle for the flight. 7 years clean.
The last cipher.
Yo, the last cipher.
The last ciphers, the circles on the concrete in the park. Elijah held the left dark after dark. Before the culture moved from the block into the room. The last ciphers, the circle what they gave the bloom. Elijah crossed Crowder Park, summer 98. He been ciphering since 89. The weight of 9 years in the circle visible in the way he held the space. The ciphers display. It's not about performance, it's about the whole. The way a veteran MC controls the fold of the circle without speaking. Keeps the energy of the rotation. Balance the synergy of the cipher requires someone who knows when to step in and when the circle grows. From restraint, Elijah knew the second. He reckoned the cipher's health by what he beckoned. Back rather than forward. When to hold the ball and let someone else unfold. I watched him for 2 summers before I understood it. That his greatest skill was the understood art of making room. The cipher's best MC is often the one you didn't see. Take up the most space. A lie dropped on at the art. The last ciphers. The last ciphers. The last ciphers. The last ciphers. Aldo Cypher had a physics that the studio lacks. The crowd is immediate. The tracks of approval and disapproval run real time. You know within the first rhyme, whether the ball landed or didn't. The instant feedback of the circle glistened with a clarity that the recorded version can't replicate. The boarded and delayed feedback of the studio allows the performer to grow. Attached to the floor take, the cipher won't let you decipher. Is a sifter, it separates what works from what feels right. In the isolation of the private night, Elijah said, I learned more in 1 summer of ciphers than in 3 years of the lumber of the studio sessions. The circle teaches because it's live. The circle reaches for the truth of the bar in real time. Elijah the Park, the last ciphers. The last ciphers. The last ciphers. The last ciphers. Crooklyn Park ciphers ended around 2001. The block changed, the circle scattered what was done. In those summers lives in everyone who held the ark. The last ciphers, Elijah cried on the park. The last ciphers. The last ciphers. The last ciphers. The last ciphers. The circles on the concrete in the park. Elijah held the left arc after dark. Before the culture moved from the block into the room. The last ciphers, the circle what they gave the bloom.
The rent party. The rent party. Yo, the rent party. $5 at the door, the whole block came. Miss Henderson's apartment every month the same. The system left a gap and the neighborhood filled it in. The rent party, community where it begins. Miss Henderson, 148th, apartment 4C. She been throwing rent parties since before I could see. Over the kitchen table at a level. My mother said the practice goes back to the devil of the Depression years when Harlem invented the rent party from necessity to dented. Safety net with
required the neighborhood to be the net itself. Miss Henderson kept the legacy, $5 at the door. Whatever you could bring, the apartment open at 9. The ring of the phone at 8 was always someone asking, is Henderson's happening? The tasking of the block, the feed, and house itself was never on any government shelf. It lived in Miss Henderson's address book. Every month she ran the books. The look of a kitchen table covered in the small bills. 5 heads in there, the skills of the informal economy applied with precision. The rent party, 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 the rent party had a social function beyond the financial. It was the inventory of the circumstantial community. Who was there, who was absent, who needed checking on. Miss Henderson seated the conversation with specific questions. How's your mother doing? The confessions of the block came out at rent parties. The neighbor in trouble, the parties that needed mediation. The family was something was wrong. The family of the block assembled once a month in apartment 4C. The blunt assessment of collective well-being, taking over $5 entry and whatever was baking. I went every month from 15 to 22. The education of the rent party ran through everything the classroom didn't cover. Miss Henderson, the block, the rent, the discover. The rent party, 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 party, the rent. Miss Henderson passed in 2003. The rent party stopped for a year. The block felt the gap. Then someone propped the door of apartment 6B open on a Friday. $5 at the door. The rent party still alive. The wait. The rent party, 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 party, the rent party. The rent party, 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 rent party, the rent party. Miss Henderson, 148, 4C, $5 every month. 2003, 6B still open.
Sunday morning call, same time every week. Sunday morning call, the voice that I still see. When everything gets complicated and unclear. Sunday morning call, only thing I need to hear.
Yeah, my mother calls at 10 a.m. on Sunday. Has for years, the consistency of it being the specific gears of the family's calendar, the peers of the week measuring themselves against the gears. A Sunday morning, I've been in different cities, different countries, different committees of obligation and adventure. The city's changing, but the 10 a.m. being the frequencies. That don't she ask about the week in her specific way. Not the surface version, the okay. How are you with the social call, the gray area of the real question underneath? Okay, but are you really okay? The specific intelligence of a mother's terrific. Antenna for the unspoken, the prolific data she processes from the horrific. Tiny information of how I say the first 3 words.
Sunday morning call, same time every week. Sunday morning call, the voice that I still see. When everything gets complicated and unclear. Sunday morning call, the only thing I need to hear. The gospel piano pitched up to something tender. The choir underneath being the gender. Less warmth of the communal, the rendering of the spiritual and sound ender. Something that asks nothing and gives everything. That's the call, the offering of unconditional attention. The buffering of the week's difficulty by the suffering. Adjacent understanding of someone who loves you completely. I don't deserve it fully. The view of myself being more complicated. The residue of the week weeks where I could have done better. The cue of a consistent presence being the actual sermon. She never preaches the German efficiency of love being a permanent presence that I affirm by showing a version of faith in a person. I try to be worthy of the Sunday call by being honest in it, saying when I fall, she already knows always a call. It's the place where I don't have to build a wall. Sunday morning call, Sunday morning call, same time every week. Sunday morning call, a voice that I still see. When everything gets complicated and unclear, Sunday morning call, the only thing I need to hear. 10 a.m. every Sunday for as long as I can remember. She asks about the week, I tell her the real version. She already knew the call is where the wall comes down. Sunday morning, same time, the only constant. Sunday morning call, same time every week. Sunday morning call, the voice that I still see. When everything gets complicated and unclear, Sunday morning call, the only thing I need to hear. Yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah. Yeah. 10 a.m. she asks the real question. In the first 3 words I tell her the truth. She already knew every Sunday. The constant.
New York raised me. Everything I am came from these streets. Yeah, New York raised me. The city's rhythm is my heartbeat. 5 boroughs. A million lessons, none of them free. None of them free. New York raised me. And New York made me free. The A train at 6 a.m. going downtown. The specific agitation of the subway, the renown of a city that teaches you everything. The gown of urban intelligence that comes from uptown to downtown in 40 minutes, watching everybody. I learned to read a room from a crowd, the body, language of a million strangers to somebody. Watching you, awareness of the city to nobody gives you anything. Truth in New York, arriving early. The bodega at the corner of my block, the surly morning energy of a city that doesn't do the performative cheerfulness of elsewhere. The true directness of the New York face, being the most honest communication I've ever encountered. The toast of this city being its absolute refusal to coast on niceties when the truth is available the most. Efficient education and human nature across a metro card. New York raised me. Everything I am came from these streets. You should. New York raised me. The city's rhythm is my heartbeat. 5 boroughs, a million lessons, none of them free. None of them free. New York raised me, and New York made me free. The soul sample underneath it, somebody's memory of the same city in a different decade. The remedy of the sample being its compression, a history, the testimony of the sound that carries the city's biography. Every borough has its own frequency, the harmony of the vibe being the actual New York, the ceremony of the borough pride being the real patrimony of the city kid, the matrimony. A place in person being the deepest bond there is. I carry the Bronx in everything I do, the fizz of the city's energy being the specific quiz I pass by surviving here. The biz of New York being that it prepares you for everything else. Every room outside New York I walked in the delves into easy mode by comparison. The shelves of difficulty being stacked higher here. The delves of pressure producing the specific diamond of the city kid. I've been to other cities, beautiful places. None of them felt like mine. The faces of New York, being the faces I learned to read. The city raised me. Everything else, they just practice.